Hello and welcome to this talk about the international opportunities that you have by choosing to study as an undergraduate at Keele University. My name's Jake and I work within the Global Opportunities team as the Global Opportunities Assistant. And what that means is that I help students who choose to go abroad and help make that a reality, supporting with the admin, all the paperwork and necessary steps that you'll need to make going abroad happen. So it's our job as a team to support students every step of the way, whether it be it before, during, or after the experience. So whichever opportunity you decide to take up, there will be support along the way for you to do this. So in terms of what we offer at Keele, we offer a wide range of options that will allow you to go abroad. One of the things that we offer short-term abilities. These are between 1 week and 3 months, and then these then can extend to as long as whole semesters or even a full academic year if you choose to study abroad. We also have work placement opportunities abroad, which are administered by the schools individually. So if that's something you're interested in, you need to speak to them. Also, one of the benefits of studying at Keele is the ability to learn a language as part, on the side of your degree. To do that, you need to speak to the language centre. But a lot of students who do go abroad do so, with the aim of learning a language or, learning a language at Keele and then taking their skills abroad and honing, developing, and increasing their competency in that language. We also have mobility for staff. Now, this might not seem that relevant to you, but what happens is we will send staff abroad for normally around a week at a time, and they kind of will share ideas at our partner universities abroad. They may do some teaching, be taught themselves, and the ideas that they get and they exchange during their time abroad, they'll bring back to Keele and help implement for the benefit of Keele students. This all feeds into the internationalization at home. So regardless of whether you choose to take a global opportunity as part of your Keele degree, you'll still benefit from a global experience, whether it's an exchange student in your seminar giving you, a perspective and new ideas that, from their style of education from back home, or whether it's a lecturer that brings back some new ideas from a visit that they took, or even if it's, if you sign up as a buddy for one of our, incoming programs, for example, the Japanese language program, that, as a Keele student, you will have plenty of opportunities to get a global and international education. So today I'm going to talk mainly about the shorter term abilities and the study abroad options at Keele. First of all, it is the summer schools. These are an excellent way to experience a new culture and country without committing too much time away from home. These are really good to broaden your academic knowledge and understanding, your language ability, and also to get a feel and an idea for different cultures beside your own. These normally last between 1 and 12 weeks and are taken outside of term time. This is normally in the summer, but sometimes we do have a couple of programs that run over Easter, and these are normally at one of our partner universities. However, you're a lot more flexible to kind of choose your own and be more independent in doing that. It just depends on what you're interested in. You'll follow a predetermined program of study, and these are generally aimed at developing your academic knowledge and language ability. These are sometimes credit bearing as well, so you can get actual credit for doing these. However, if these are more experiential or more designed to broaden your knowledge, then they're very good to use on CVs and when talking to prospective employers, as they can really add to your add depth to your existing knowledge getting through your Keele degree. The academic requirements and entry requirements of these do vary based on the program. The process isn't always competitive, but generally you'll need to demonstrate good conduct and ambassadorial qualities during your time at Keele. The specific entry requirements will probably depend on and how intensive, either academically or what level of language you'll be studying on them. Just a couple of examples of the programs that we offer. This is by no means an exhaustive list, but this is just to give you an idea of some of the programs that Keele students are able to undertake. Every summer we have Japanese language programs with some of our Japanese partners. These are focused on developing Japanese speaking skills, Japanese listening skills, and also give you an idea of the fantastic Japanese culture. These are normally for 3 weeks in the summer, and these are administered, and kind of places are assigned by the language centre. So if you study Japanese at Keele, then you would be eligible to apply for this program. We also have in Malaysia, we have our parasitology program, which lasts for 3 months during the summer. This is, I think, the School of Biomedical Science, but they kind of will recruit themselves, the students, to do this, and it's a really excellent program because you get it's outside of your Keele degree, so it's completely independent of that, but it's a really good extended period of time in Malaysia to give you, a sense of the culture and the life there, as well as helping towards final projects and getting a really interesting course on parasitology. One of our shortest programs we offer is a 1-week criminology program at Ball State University in Indiana. This is normally run in the Easter break, and it's a really good intensive academic experience to give you a flavour of the legal system in the States, but not committing too much time away. In China, we have a 3-week program with the Beijing Foreign Studies University. It's a really, really unique option to really have a broad choice of academics that you could study there, which can vary from really quite specifics, or it can be really quite broad. And it's also got a big focus on the cultural experiences there. So they run a lot of trips and sightseeing around Beijing for the students that undertake this. Closer to home, we have a short program in the Netherlands at Radboud University. And the whole point of this is to kind of study subjects for 2 weeks that will help complement your existing degree subject, and be really quite useful for kind of broadening your mind, giving you a flavour of life abroad, but again only spending 2 weeks in the summer doing that. And I think our shortest thing we offer is in Hungary at the University of Pécs. And this is a model United Nations workshop that they run with the sole purpose of honing your research skills and being able to present information effectively. To find out more about the short programs that we offer, please do visit our website, as the updated list of kind of what's available for each year will be posted there. Now, for those of you that are wanting a bit longer abroad, we would really ask you to consider the study abroad options. You could, in theory, do both, whether you wanted to do a short program to start with to kind of give yourself an idea, and then if you're happy, have a good time, then commit to a longer period of stay. The first thing we offer is a semester abroad. This is a really good chance to get an immersive cultural experiences, a really good chance to travel the world, meet new people, see new things, get a different academic education system, but do it all as part of your Keele degree. You'll spend 1 semester of your second year at one of our partner universities across the world, and you'll study modules that are identical to what you would study at Keele if you were to be at Keele rather than abroad. The grades that you receive abroad are then converted into Keele grades, and these count towards your overall degree classification. So this is why we call it a replacement semester, because it means that you still get the 3 years worth of study and you graduate after 3 years as normal. To be eligible for this program, we ask that you maintain a 60% average across both semesters, because it does count towards your overall degree, so we ask for a certain academic level for you to do that. And then for students who are after a longer experience, we have the international year. This gives you the chance to spend a whole year either in one place or across 2 universities and get that real immersive experience, but with a lot more flexibility to decide exactly what you want to see, experience and study. This is taken as an additional year, so it does delay your graduation, And this is, you spend the first 2 years at Keele as normal, and then you take your international year before returning to Keele to complete what would be your third year. So it makes it a 4-year degree title. And this is, again, as I said, at one of our partner universities or 2 of our partner universities worldwide. You only need to take 40% of your modules related to your Keele degree area. Now, please do remember the word related, because that can be quite flexible in itself. And then the remaining 60% of modules are yours to do what you want with. We normally suggest that you take stuff that are complementary to your subject area. So psychology students may take criminology modules, mathematics students may take modules in the field of artificial intelligence, and it's a really good way to kind of follow your interest, really. And so kind of if you kind of know what you want to do after university, if you want to do a master's, you could take some modules in these sort of areas to help broaden your knowledge, and really help give you that academic advantage when you return to Keele for your final year. And it's a pass-fail year. So if you don't pass your modules, then okay, you return to Keele as normal. But if you do pass, you add with international year to your degree title. This is an excellent way to make your degree and your CV stand out from the crowd when applying for jobs afterwards. Again, there is an academic requirement here. You need to achieve a minimum of 60% in your first semester of year 2. And then overall for your second year, you need to have an average of 54% to be eligible for this program. So where can you go? Well, we have 80 partner universities across the world. So the real question is, where do you want to go? One of the benefits of having so many partners is that Keele students really do get a say in where they would like to go. The process is competitive, but in terms of the students that applied this year, there was only 5 or 6 students that didn't get one of their top 3 universities for this exchange program. And for the summer schools, again, there's a lot more scope for you to decide exactly what it is that you want to do and where you want to go. So that is the real question. For a full list of our partner universities, again, that's on our website. These do change every year. We get new partners, some partnerships end. But to get an idea of where you could go, that's the place to go. But we have partners in about 24 different countries across 4 continents. So it really does give you a lot of choice to think about where it is you might want to be and what you want to get out of your time abroad. So the reason why we think you should take these fantastic opportunities is because it really does help you stand out. Only 7.8% of undergraduate students in England went on mobility last year. And so that really, if you do that, you are in a very small proportion of students that have done something that employers really do look on with value. Only 7.8%, you can talk about your time abroad. It really, like I said, it really does help you stand out. And also kind of the academic benefits are there, are clear to see. You're more likely to achieve a first-class degree by taking time out abroad, and you're more likely to find graduate employment with a higher starting salary than students who don't go abroad as part of their degree. It also offers, your academic and personal development. The old cliche is that travel broadens a mind. Spending some time abroad opens so many new doors and opportunities for you, and kind of helps you realize some, opportunities and prospective things that you could do that you wouldn't get by just staying at Keele. Academically, you could be going abroad and making use of so many resources and different perspectives and opinions at different universities that you just wouldn't get by staying at Keele for the full 3 years, and you can bring that to your final degree. And that's one of the reasons why students do tend to do better academically. But also, it's really just good fun to do that. When you go abroad, you're surrounded by other students who are in the same position, that they just want to have a good time, see the world, travel, and better themselves and to discover a new pathway. I'm sure by looking at some of the photos that we have on these slides, it is a really good time, and that's not to be understated. That part of this is not just for for your future, but it's also, you know, for in the now, to really enjoy yourself when you're abroad. But don't just take our word for it. All of these figures are taken from Universities UK International, and you can look on their websites for all sorts of facts and figures, you know, and how international mobility affects students from different backgrounds, countries, where they've been, what they've studied. You can read that to your heart's content, but so some of the key ones is, you know, you're more likely to achieve a first or a 2-1. You're more likely to be in a higher starting salary after graduation. And although it doesn't seem too much to start with, these jobs tend to be more in line with what you actually want to do. And again, you're much more likely to find graduate level employment once you graduate because of this experience. And this is what some of our students who have been abroad want to say. So this is just a short video for you to watch about what they got out of studying.
I highly recommend it because you will make friends for life. So I went to Keele University of Foreign Studies in Japan for this international year, and I had an absolutely amazing time, and it was one of the best experiences I've ever done. I really wanted to go on an international year to kind of get kind of qualifications of just being an international student, a global graduate. I learned so many skills whilst I was out there. I managed to learn the language. I learned a lot about myself as well. It's probably one of the best parts, I'd say, about studying abroad. It's the friends you make all across the world. So I now have friends from America to Germany to France to Korea. It's really amazing just to have that kind of array of friends from all across the world.
I chose Korea University because I just wanted to experience a new country. I learned about a new culture and made new international friends.
Hi guys, I studied in Bowling Green, Ohio in the USA. So I really enjoyed myself there. I made a bunch of friends that I plan on keeping for life. So I'm planning on going back this summer actually to see a lot of them graduate. And then I made friends with people from like all over Europe as well. Like I met Austrians, I met some Australians as well. So global friends, which is really cool. And we traveled everywhere. And they're actually planning to come visit me for my birthday this year as well, which is really nice. So yeah, I highly recommend it because you will make friends for life.
One really great year in the Netherlands, and I learned lots of new things. Like I learned a bit of Dutch, I learned a lot about riding a bike in a country where everyone rides a bike, and I had a lot of great experiences. I traveled a lot, which was probably my favorite part of the year. So I went to 6 different countries this year, and I had 15 different flights. So you can really get a lot out of your experience studying abroad. Beyond just the university, you can there's so many opportunities if you study abroad.
Okay, so that was the video taken at our Study Abroad Fair, which we have every year, which kind of tells students exactly what. So a big question that we get is, how much is this all going to cost? You know, there is a financial aspect to this, but you know, you don't have to be loaded to be able to do something like this. It really does depend on, you know, the distance you travel, how long you go for, and where exactly you actually end up, and also yourself as to, you know, how, you know, your own spending habits and what you want to get out of the experience. You know, regardless of where you go, how long you go for, there are, you know, the same costs. So accommodation, food, your flights, a visa if you go to a country that requires one, if the university requires you to take out specific health insurance, and whether, you know, and some places you need to have, medical tests and vaccines before you go. But these are things that you can kind of you do have control over, because obviously, the amount of time you go for, how far you go can depend on how much flights cost and whether you avoid countries that have like the visa and insurance implications. Short programs, the summer schools are normally quite good because their costs are outlined in the promotional materials. It's a package program with a fixed program of activities, so it's much easier to kind of say how much this is going to cost you overall. A bit harder to do for the semester abroad international year, but do bear in mind that a lot of the costs are transferable as if you were to stay at Keele. So your accommodation, food, and day-to-day living costs, such as your books and equipment and just getting by. Those kind of are the same cost that you would have to do spending at Keele. Just things to think about is maybe the cost of living in the particular destination that you choose. Your additional costs are then your flights, your visa, your health requirements, but also the how much you want to budget to travel and do for fun. It's you've got less scope for that on your shorter opportunities, but certainly for the study abroad, it is a really good idea to kind of think about what traveling you want to do, what you want to go and see, and how much you want to budget for that, because that can really impact on how much it costs overall. Going abroad is likely to cost more than if you were to stay at Keele, but as we've said, there are ways to kind of help negate that cost, minimize it, or not. You could have more money to chuck at it and just do all this stuff, but we do truly believe that there is a study abroad opportunity for every student. Also, another cost that are specific to the semester abroad and international years are tuition fees. These are paid to Keele as normal, so don't worry about say, for example, our American partners, how much they're going to charge you for tuition. All fees are paid to Keele as normal. The semester abroad for your second year, you pay whatever the going rate is. So currently it's £9,250 for the year. That gets paid to Keele as normal, and then if you go on the international year, that is 15% of the going fee. So this year it's something like £1,388, and this is also covered by student finance as well, if that's how you pay your tuition fees. Which brings me nicely onto the funding that's available. As I said, the student finance continues for the time that you go abroad if you go on the study abroad placement. Bit different for the shorter programs, which we'll come on to in a minute. But if you go on the semester abroad or international year, then your tuition fee loan and maintenance loan and grant continues as normal. When you arrive at university in September, you'll know how much student finance that you're entitled to in terms of your maintenance and your tuition. And so you can use that as a good gauge as to what you might be entitled to should you choose to take up one of these programs, because you get a recalculated entitlement if you indicate that you're going abroad, and it's normally a bit higher because student finances appreciate that it does take a bit more financial outlay to go on these sorts of programs. There's also something which is pretty cool, which is called the travel grant. I can't tell you who's eligible for that because that's something the student finance keeps close to their chest, but when you come to apply for your student finance for the time that you go abroad, they will tell you whether you're eligible for it, and if you are, what that means is that any travel involved with you getting to your host university to study abroad is reimbursed to you by student finance. So that includes either 2 or 3 return flights a year, depending on where you go and how long you go for. This includes any visa costs, any health insurance that, any medical things that you need to provide to get there. And even when you're abroad, any cost that, gets you to and from your university to be able to study, that gets reimbursed by student finance. You have to be able to foot the bill in the first instance, and I think you have to pay the first £300 towards it. But as long as you keep your receipts and evidence of the payment, then this will be reimbursed to you. For our shorter programs and our summer schools, there are scholarships available. These sometimes are provided by the UK and sometimes a host country. We will put these opportunities that we know of on our website. But sometimes it's just worth having a look just to see online, just to see what's going, because there's plenty of help out there that you can apply for. And even, for some programs, if you go to a program at our partner university, then quite often they offer waived or discounted rates for tuition for Keele students, because we have the exchange partnership going. And that's something that we can kind of communicate to you year on year, depending on what we're given. So there is the support available out there. Some examples of support are the JASO scholarship for Japan. This is obviously for students who go to Japan on a mobility, and this is provided by the Japanese government for students with a particularly strong academic standing. We have BUTEX scholarships. BUTEX is an organisation of higher education institutions in the UK, which Keele is a member of, and there's money put aside every year for students to want to go abroad to apply for, to help support their dreams of going abroad. Sometimes your local education authority may have that, so it's always worth checking above that. But also, it's important to consider as well that there is time between now and you actually going abroad, and a lot of students decide, okay, I'm gonna, either they get a part-time job or the job that they already have, they'll put a certain amount aside each month to help support this. And let's say you go for the international year, that's a couple of years away, so that enough time to save slowly, to think about what you want to do. And sometimes our students like crowdfund or put a jar in the local pub to help them do that. So because you're thinking about this now, you do have time to think about the options. But yeah, any scholarship that is offered, you will have to apply for it. But any questions that you have relating to that, please come and speak to us, and we can kind of help you and direct you with the process for that. So if you want to find out more about what we offer, if hopefully you decide to come to Keele, and if that's the case, every October we have our Global Opportunities Fair, as showed on that video with our students. And what this will tell you exactly what sort of opportunities are available that year, what the latest requirements are, and anything that you need to know. And it's also a really good opportunity to speak to students who have been abroad, because what we do is students that have been abroad to return, we get them to operate a stall for each of our partner universities, and you can speak to them as to what they did, their experience, what it's like, and for you to kind of gauge as to what you might like to do as your international experience. A big question we get is kind of, when do I apply for all this? Well, essentially you would apply for your international mobility in the November or December before you travel, and it's normally the year before. So let's say you go in the summer of your first year, then you'd apply for in the November or December of your first year. But this is why we have the fair in October, because we can communicate that information to you then. If you have any specific questions, then please get in touch with us, because we're more than happy to answer questions. We keep a lot of our information on our website at keele.ac.uk/study abroad. But if you still have any specific questions, any niche questions that may seem a bit odd, please email us at studyabroad@keele.ac.uk. We aim to get back to you in about 2 days or something. And any question you have, please direct it there. We have an Instagram account as well, which we encourage our students that go abroad to share photos like the one at the bottom of this slide. And it's a really good way that if you're unsure and you think there's too much choice and not really sure where you might want to end up, it really is a good idea to kind of have a look at the photos on there, because it kind of helps you imagine what it would be like at these different partners, and whether you can imagine yourself being there for anywhere between 1 week or a full year. We also have peer advisors as well. So these are students that have been abroad that volunteer their time to advise students. These are available once you arrive at Keele in September, and they have drop-in session, office hours, and you can ask anything that you might want to ask about studying abroad that perhaps you don't want to ask the Global Opportunities team, or you want to hear directly from the horse's mouth as someone that's been there and done it and wants to help it with you. So thank you for listening, and we really hope that you choose Keele and that we see you in September.